What's up, everybody? Thank you very much for listening to the Whatcast. Mike, how's it going over there? Are you in an Arctic hell blast, or is it livable right now?
I was in an Arctic hell blast yesterday. Today, most of it is melting.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. Storm comes through, dumps a bunch of snow on us, and then within 24 hours, it's melting.
Yeah, up in Northern California, they've got like the Coast Guard helicopter dropping supplies to Californians that are snowed into their house. Like their houses are under the snow.
Like how much snow got dropped?
I saw some pictures, and it's houses that have snow. Like the only thing that's poking out is like maybe 2 feet of their roof.
What?
Yeah.
Was it like a fucking avalanche or something? That's like 12 feet of snow minimum.
Yeah, exactly. It looked unreal. But they're stuck there. They're literally dropping food and water from helicopters to these people.
Wild.
Yep.
Fucking weather. The Mother Nature she's just like, fuck off already. What do I have to do? You want more tornadoes? Here's some tornadoes. You want a tidal wave of snow? Here's a tidal wave of snow. Fuck off and die. And we're like, you know what, Mother Nature? Fuck you. We're just going to bury ourselves in here and fucking store canned goods.
Right. I definitely think Mother Earth has been pushing out the fart that's supposed to disrupt humanity for the past 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. What's going to end up happening is she's just going to shrug her shoulders and be like, you know what? Fuck you. Yellowstone's blowing up. And then we're all going to be like, no.
And then we shall be reduced to cavemen.
Or ash, depending on your proximity.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. You're probably toast, buddy. I'll have to suffer the long fate of breathing in volcanic ash.
Yep.
So, you got it lucky, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. Knowing me, I'll survive it and be stuck in a lava hell.
Yeah, you'll be like you'll have this weird scarred body that's kind of fused with rock. And as a result, you gain lava powers.
Wow. I instantly turn into an 80s action figure. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. You're the superhero of the wasteland now.
Mateo, the rock-bodied caveman.
Yeah.
From the future.
Some circles call him Lava Fist.
Yeah.
Or the Stone Troglodyte.
Although I do love the idea. We're not here to talk about action figures of myself.
That would be a good sticker for the sticker club, though.
Yeah, it is. I gotta see what I can do with that.
Patrons, you're in for a treat. You hear that? He's working on it.
Yeah, or maybe I'll draw the stages of me turning rock, and the very first step is my nipples.
Like the evolution thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So we're here to talk about an article that came out. And just like with all the weird stuff that was happening, me and Mike were talking before the show. You guys notice all that UFO shit stopped? They just said that they're giving up the search for 3 of these things and then nothing.
Yeah, it's fucked up. And then I actually, right before we signed in, I went on Twitter. And Twitter right now, at this very moment, this is 10:37 p.m. Eastern time on March 5th when we are recording this. So as of right now, trending on Twitter is UFO Twitter week. So I clicked on that to, see what's going on. And like there's a bunch of fake videos that are being shown. One of them looks really fucking cool. But it's one of those ones that was somebody's art project that got in the wrong hands, and now people are like, look at this amazing UFO sighting. And it was never intended to be a hoax. It was an art project. But it looks fucking amazing. And then I saw something, remember, I don't know if this was the one that you saw, but the 2014 sighting in San Jose. It was like a silver disc.
Yes, I saw that actually.
Yeah, I thought that was one, but I saw someone had posted a video where they like stabilized it, and so that's cool. And then I don't know, nothing interesting though, like nothing new, nothing groundbreaking. It's mostly people arguing it whether or not Elizondo is real, or whether or not Jeremy Corbell is the second coming of Christ, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Oh, the world of communities. Every time somebody asks us to join a community, either it's like a podcast community or like a paranormal community, I cringe and throw my cape over my shoulder, hiss and say, no way.
It's just a lot of work, like I used to be a lot more active on Twitter, but it's a lot of work to be part of a community. But yeah, we've had like long talks with people before that were trying to establish like networks of like-minded podcasts and everything. And I don't know, for one, I feel like if I'm part of a community like that, then instantly whatever anyone within that community is putting out, because I'm also part of that community, I feel like that's kind of reflecting on what we do.
Or we have to like automatically support it.
Yeah. Or if not even like outwardly support it, just like, like if someone were to there's a lot of weird white supremacy stuff in the UFO community. So let's say we were part of a weird paranormal thing.
Wait a minute. Hold on. There's a big white supremacy thing in the UFO field.
Oh yeah, you don't know about this?
No.
Oh my God. All right. So, oh God, I don't want to get too. We can do a whole separate show about it. But basically, there's a branch of UFO community that overlaps with a lot of Nazi occult practices and stuff, and like you'll get into these arguments, or you'll come across these arguments, I should say. Not that I am not participating in these arguments. Let me be perfectly clear. But you'll see these arguments between people, like basically like debating the merits of Hitler. And you'll have like one person arguing that he wasn't a true Aryan, and then another person will be like arguing that he wasn't all bad. He may have been responsible for the Holocaust, but he was like super into animals. So, you can't say he's all bad. It's fucking weird. But a lot of it ties in with the Viking stuff, which I believe is then tied into the Nordics, like the Nordic aliens.
Right.
And because, the tall whites and the Nordics, they're like the civilized alien races. So that's proof that white man here on Earth is the civilized, just bullshit like that. It's so dumb. So dumb.
People ruin everything.
Yeah. Nazis ruin everything. Fucking Nazis, man. Just fuck all the way off already.
I remember when we did that episode on the rat house, that supposed story. And
yeah.
You started the show by saying, hey, you know what sucks? Nazis suck. And we actually have comments on there of people defending Nazis. They're like, don't
see, it's so fucking gross.
Don't bash Nazis. You don't, not all Nazis were. I'm like, no, we're talking about like 1940s fucking try to take over the world Nazis. So, let's...
so space Nazis, I don't fucking know, man. Nazis on the moon. Nazis in Antarctica?
Oh, yeah, that's another one. What's this article that we came across? This is interesting because, like I was saying, the UFO stuff stopped, but it looks like some monster stuff is still going on. That might continue, which I love. UFOs have taken over my whole fucking life. I'm tired of them. I'm sick of them, Mike. I'm sick of them.
I am kind of sick of it too. Like if you're gonna, I would like something more than just little breadcrumbs being left by the government.
Yeah. It's amazing the footage though that's coming out. I mean, it's just every day. It's just a daily thing now. There's incredible UFO footage. But I came across some footage, a few pieces of footage to where we talked about that filter, the backrooms filter that they put over, just regular CGI, and it looks insanely real, just absurdly real. They've improved on that so much. I came across this piece of footage, which I ended up being like a GoPro on like a drone that crashed. But so the footage was real, but somebody had CGI'd like an airplane panel and windows like it was an airplane. And it was just, I had to watch it like 3 or 4 times. And it was only because of the stuff I've seen in VR that I recognized how it was CGI'd in there. But they're mixing media now and then putting this filter over it. And there's some stuff. I mean, I'm sure you saw that footage of that black ball being chased by those 2 jets that was going around.
Yeah, wasn't that proven to be a hoax, though?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's the filter. Okay. That's the filter with over CGI mixed with real footage. And we're getting stuff like that. I mean, I think the days of UFO footages are over if we have shit that fakes stuff that well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's such a bummer because way back, like, seeing pictures of UFOs or footage that was recorded on a fucking VHS camcorder, like that shit was the real shit, you know? Like, you're not faking that. You got a fucking thing that weighs 20 pounds on your shoulder. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
But now it's every video I see, I'm like, yeah, okay, fuck off. It doesn't, either it's man-made or it's fake.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe anything that I see anymore. That's allegedly the greatest UFO footage of all time. Oh my God, check this out. All the arrows and yellow text everywhere.
Yeah, every footage is the greatest one now. They're all like astounding. So it's kind of just become
greatest
a wash.
Bigfoot footage ever made. And it's like a fucking shadow from 50 yards away. Oh my God.
Well, this case has a supposed piece of evidence too, Mike. Why don't you get into this story that we're going to talk about?
Okay. Yeah, 15 minutes later. Let's get into So there was there's really, I mean, there's the article itself, there's not that much to. And this was actually sent to us from one of our listeners, Jeppa sent it to us on Twitter. So shout out to Jeppa. Thank you for sending this our way. But there's really not all that much to the article itself. What we have, there's this picture, which when I first saw it, I'm going to be honest, I didn't think it was, I thought it was like a case of pareidolia where like you see this thing, but the more I look at it, you can kind of make out the features, and I'm not convinced that it's pareidolia.
Can you send it to me on Skype? I haven't looked at it too much.
Yeah, 1 second. So when I first saw it, I thought it was just light and shadows on a tree making the illusion of something being there. But the more I look at it, you can make these features out. Like, you can clearly see a hand resting on the branch and the arm extending back into the body. You can see what looks like a bent knee coming off the side, like it's in a crouched position. And then it looks like it's wearing like a headdress maybe, and there's 2 glowing eyes.
Yeah, you can even see some formation of the nose there.
Yeah, you can see some kind of features. I don't think it's necessarily pareidolia, but that could still be a possibility. I don't want to rule it out, but based on what I'm seeing, it doesn't appear to be that way. But the reason this is significant, it's not just some blurry photo that someone is posting in a Reddit forum, is the president of Mexico, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, posted a picture of this on his social media account, and he claimed that it was being known as an Alux or Alux. I don't. Do you pronounce X in Spanish? I don't. I'm shit at Spanish, guys. I haven't taken Spanish in like 20 years. But I'm gonna say it's an Alux.
It's an H sound.
So it'd be an Alux?
Yeah.
Okay. An Alux. I'm just going to say Alux because I'm a stupid American. Sorry, guys. I know I'm butchering it no matter how I say it, so I'm just going to say it in a way that I know I can pronounce. What an asshole. So he's saying that it's this being known as an Alux. And basically, the photo itself was taken by an engineer that was working on a rail project. And he saw this thing in a tree and took the picture of it. But the rail line it's a line that's supposed to be connecting tourist destinations that, and it would link ancient Mayan sites together. So the reason that's the main reason why it's getting all the publicity, because the president is saying this is a fucking Alux, and here's the picture. And so, that would be like our president posting a picture of Bigfoot and saying, this is a real picture of Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's kind of cool that the president of Mexico obviously has an interest there. And I mean, to say that it comes from like a worker, it's probably a worker, like an official worker for the state, right?
Yeah, he's an engineer. He's basically the engineer on site for this rail project.
So that means that this photo was produced by the government. Somebody from the government captured this photo.
Right. Yep.
That's interesting. I mean, it doesn't look digitally messed with. I mean, the shoulder where the arm that's on the tree and it's back there gets a little ugly, but the rest, it matches the background very well. It doesn't look messed with too much, in my opinion.
Yeah, it doesn't. It looks like whatever is there is actually there. As to what it is, I don't know. But
no, that shroud on its head just changes everything. It looks like it's got darker colored rags on, maybe on its body, but that the head wrap on it is a lot lighter, almost white.
Yeah, it's almost the same color as the tree, which is why at first I thought it was just a case of pareidolia.
Right.
And maybe it was, like a weirdly bent branch gives the appearance of being a shroud or a headdress or something. But these things, they're basically like the Mayan versions of fairies. The Mayans believed that these beings were typically invisible, but they were capable of becoming visible if they wanted to. Usually it would be they would make themselves visible if they wanted to communicate with a human, but they would also become visible again if they wanted to play pranks or scare somebody. But they were thought to be nature spirits, but also they were viewed as being spirits of Mayan ancestors. So I'm not sure the exact belief system behind it, but I think it was something like when the ancestors die, they become part of nature, and then this nature spirit combines with the human spirit and creates these beings.
Golly, that's a grim-looking nature spirit. I mean, can you imagine before whatever happened that phased out us being able to perceive these things, like being like an Aztec or Mayan teenager and walking through the woods and hearing one of those things groan and knowing that's what it is, and you just kind of put your head down and walk faster.
The big thing with them, typically if they were encountered on a path or on a roadway, they would approach the traveler and ask for an offering of some sort. Typically, like with fairies, typically an offering of food will be enough to satisfy them, and they'll go on their way. But if you don't, then they will they'll follow you and create bad luck around you, or they can make you sick. But they're not able to physically harm people. But if you stay on their good side, they can offer protection and benefits. Farmers used to make a pact with them, and there was in sometimes you'd be able to call one forth if you knew that its name. You could call to them, and they would come to you. And the belief was they would give you 7 years of benefits. Like they would help your crops to thrive. They would protect it from pests and thieves, and basically be nothing but lovely for 7 years. But after 7 years, they would get bored, and then they'd start wreaking havoc, and then they would basically take on like a poltergeist type thing within your house. They would cause your crops to rot. Your animals would waste away or run away or disappear or whatever. But the way to avoid that would be you would build a house for them. So it would be like this small, kind of like a shrine, but built like a house. And they would build it on the property, and then after 7 years, they would seal up the doors and windows on the house, which would trap them inside the shrine. And in that way, they wouldn't be able to cause havoc on their property after the 7 years.
That sounds risky, dude. That sounds like a pretty cool
Yeah.
B-horror movie that somebody finds one of these shacks on a place
breaks
that
it open,
Yeah.
and unleashes it. Yeah, and they're all over the countryside and in throughout the Yucatan Peninsula, like all around the countryside. There's these little shrine house things for these beings.
Whoa, no way. I want to see that
Yeah.
so bad. It reminds me of
let me see. I hold on.
reminds me of the ones in Thailand. They have the little houses they build for spirits, so they'll inhabit that instead of the actual house.
Yeah, if you just look up like Alux shrine, you should be able to see one. The only picture I've got handy is just an up close one, and you can't really make out what it is. But they, so I said that typically they are invisible, but when they choose to appear, they're typically said to be knee high, but some reports say that they can get up to 3 feet tall. But they have wide owl-like eyes, and they make really quick, sudden movements. Sometimes they're said to appear with different body parts of other animals in the area, which include iguanas, deer, macaws, and snakes. But then there's other descriptions that describe them looking like sprites, like little pixie beings. And then there's some regions which say that this is the type that this picture depicts, but there's some areas that describe them as looking like dark shadows with glowing eyes, which, in this picture, basically that's what that looks like.
Yeah, the description of this thing it sure describes what's in this photo. Even the eyes with the big eye shine, you can tell it's got huge orbitals there.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and anything that's got large pupils is going to have a decent amount of eye shine. So that could account for the glowing eyes.
For sure.
But to me, it's interesting that this occurred on a railway project, because there's beliefs that if you purchase land that has an Alux on it, say the previous farmer was working with it or summoned it or did whatever, and you move in, even if it's say the farmer was working with this for 2 years now, so you'd still have 5 years good luck with this thing. But if a new person came in, because it's a new person, it would start playing tricks on them, and it would fuck up their gardens, it would fuck up their crops, it would let animals out of the barn, it would steal tools, do all that fucking shit that fairies do when they get pissed off. It's the same. It's honestly the same type of stuff, but you can make a peace offering, which was typically a food offering, and if the Alux would accept it, then they would go back to being peaceful. And you could also there's a ritual that can be performed with a shaman, with a Mayan shaman, who would use some of the new owner's blood and mixed with other stuff and use it as a way to have the Alux go away, basically.
Wow. Okay. So far to me, this thing sounds pretty dangerous. I mean, for it to be cool, if it's on your property, you got to trap it. And like I said, that's dangerous. Somebody can let that out. And I don't think it's going to be nice and calm when it gets out. It's going to know it was trapped. It's going to know who trapped it. And now we're butting in with some blood magic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's and not only that, but there's been fairly recently in the 90s, there was a building project that was done. The government was building a bridge between Cancun and Playa del Carmen, and while they were building the bridge, on 3 separate times the site had failed, and people started to the workers started to get suspicious because every time it would just, they'd be doing everything the way it's supposed to be done, and something would go wrong. So after the 3rd time, they called in a Mayan shaman to come in, and the shaman worked with them to start making peace with the Aluxes. And so he did this ritual, not the blood ritual, but he did a ritual, to basically asking for their permission to build through here. And then he built a shelter for them to live in. And once he did that, they tried a 4th time, and everything was successful.
Whoa.
So was it a coincidence that it happened, or was it because of the ritual appeasing the fairies? I don't know.
Very interesting.
Yeah. But the belief in the Alux, like I said, the Maya said that they were nature spirits, but also ancestral spirits. But there's historians that think that these stories may have been inspired by British pirates and Spanish conquistadors during the 1500s. The reason they think that is because the stories are so similar to fairies. And a lot of the pirates that would have been coming into that area would have been coming from the British Islands. So they would have had their beliefs, their fairy beliefs, or they were Irish, the leprechauns, whatever. But the Spanish conquistadors, in Spanish culture, they have a belief in this being called the duende. And a lot of times with the modern take on this, duende and Alux kind of become interchangeable, but to me it seems like it's just a different name for the same thing from a different culture. But the duende, it's basically a supernatural humanoid creature similar to like a gnome or a leprechaun or a fairy or goblin in some cultures. But they're just these small humanoid creatures that make homes in specific areas and work with or against the people living there, depending on if they get annoyed or if they're appreciated. But it's all the same type of thing, like all of the fairy lore stuff. The only thing is with the Alux that I haven't seen with other fairy lore is that I haven't heard of any legends where they try to make people go and cross over to their territory,
right?
Like the fairyland or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There doesn't seem to be anything like that. They seem more like they're mischief makers, and that's about it. But there's, as stupid as it sounds, there's some cryptozoologists that believe that the whole legend of the Alux stems from reports of dwarfism in early Maya society. And because it was an uncommon condition, they and this is cryptozoologists, which, like, you guys are fucking hunting for Bigfoot, and you're going to be like, no, they're just misinterpreting dwarves. Like, come on, don't be an idiot. That's just silly. So I guess according to them, because they're dwarfs, instantly they've got they've got supernatural abilities and they're super mischievous.
Right, yeah, I was going to say
that's silly.
Nothing in the description of the Alux that coincides with somebody with dwarvism.
Yeah, it's so silly. But I wonder if that, maybe I would be curious if there's been issues with this rail line, like if they've come across issues, and maybe it's a thing where they didn't get the permission first, and so they're sending scouts to observe and make sure they're not fucking around. And they're gonna wreak some havoc.
Yeah, when was that put in? Or they're doing it now still, right?
Yeah. The picture was taken at the end of February.
Okay, so we'll have to wait 7 years to see what happens.
Yeah, unless they're pissed off now and they're just gonna derail more trains.
Ooh.
Because keep in mind, this rail project is linking ancient Mayan sites. So if these are Mayan ancestral spirits, like, they would have a reason to guard this place.
Yeah, once again, they're supposed to be there. This type of entity.
Yeah, they're ancestral nature spirits, so they're like one with the land and the people. And now you've got modern people digging it up to lay down railways for foreigners to come through, keeping a close eye on it.
Just pissing stuff off, man.
Yeah. Good luck to you, buddy.
Yeah, much like I say, I don't have gills. I don't go in the ocean. I think I'm going to apply that same thing to like ancient sites.
Yeah. I'm just going to never leave my house. And then that way I know I won't piss off any ancestral ghosts or sharks or aliens or Mothmans.
I'm not food. Why do I need to be in a grocery store?
I'm not advertising these goods. Stay the fuck off me, sharks.
Wow, so that's cool to see that there's a supposed picture of this thing. I mean, it's creepy as fuck. It's got a very skeletal face.
Yeah, it does. It does kind of have the appearance of a skeleton.
It sure does. It's very creepy.
You know what it reminds me of? Fuck, I can't remember the toy line, but maybe you remember it from the 80s. There was these toy lines that had...
I'm going to stop you right there. A hologram on the front, like the whole front of it was a hologram.
Correct. And it had the hood thing, and then you'd move it and you'd see like it be two different forms in the hologram. Like one would be like a person, and then you turn it and it'd be like a skeleton or something.
Yes, sir. I had like 3 or 4 of those.
Yeah. What were they? Do you remember what they were called?
No, I do not. Those were pretty obscure, dude. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. I watch a lot of retro toy videos on YouTube, and someone was covering that toy line fairly recently, and I've forgotten what they were now.
Oh, that's a shame. You should find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were dope, dude. I had the purple one. I know that for sure. I remember that one. The holograms were really cool. I was like, holy Christ, what magic is this?
Supernaturals.
Oh, yeah, I think that's it.
And then, so the supernaturals were the ones that looked like ghosts that had the hood and the full front hologram. But then there was visionaries, which were dudes in armor that had like they had like a staff thing with a hologram on it and a hologram on their shield, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think they might have had a hologram thing on their chest, their armor chest plate thing.
That's so cool.
Yeah. But Supernaturals was the one that I was thinking of. And yeah, those holograms were fucking rad, man.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah. It's funny how we always end up talking about fucking nerd shit.
Yeah. Can't help it.
It goes so well with cryptid talk or alien talk or whatever.
Yeah, it's funny to look back at old toys and see how many of them are actual cryptids. I mean, like we talk about the little Muscleman figures, and they've made like monster ones, Monster in My Pockets, and
there were tons of cryptids in Monster in My Pocket.
Yeah, it's cool. You look back and you're like, oh my god.
I'm really surprised they didn't do more cryptids. You know, like there was no Mothman. There could have easily been a Mothman, a Flatwoods monster,
Right. And there's so many toy companies that try with that, like the little blind box of a cryptid toy that just, they know you
Yeah.
can't sell inch and a half little like gummy resin figure for $17. I know it was independently produced, but
Yeah, like I know they're aiming for collectors, but like make it more accessible. Like no, like you said, no one wants to pay fucking $15 for a 1-inch figure that doesn't even move.
right.
But if you throw 5 of them in a garbage can, I'll fucking buy the shit out of it.
That's right.
Or even give me. Do you remember Battle Beasts?
Oh man, see that was my favorite. I actually
I love Battle Beasts.
The bass player of the Red Phantom actually had a ton of them, dude.
Nice.
Yeah, he actually had like a broker for toys. Somebody he would tell, like, go find me these toys, and yeah,
that's awesome.
Uh,
Yeah, that's some cool shit. But I always thought that was cool too, because he'd get a 2-pack. So no matter what, you'd always have, like, even if you only got a 2-pack, you were able to have your guys fight each other.
Yep, you instantly had a battle planned.
Yeah, it's awesome. So give me cryptid 2-packs. I'll take that.
Yep.
Give me Flatwoods versus Mothman, or the Dover Demon versus the fucking Hopkinsville Goblins.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want.
We can make it like some of them pro-humans and some of them anti-humans, so you can put the hologram on their chest that will reveal the symbol of what faction they are a part of.
So yeah.
God.
Would Dogman be for or against?
I think he's against. I think he's always pissed.
Yeah, but I've never heard of him eating anybody.
That's because he leaves no evidence, man.
Yeah, you're probably right. We never hear about it because they're fucking dead.
This is what we would do if we were rich: is make toys.
Oh my God, I would make toys and cartoons.
Yep, that's all.
Yeah, I would have an animator on standby, just so my stupid ideas could be animated, and I'd be like, you know what, I'm just gonna voice them all myself. I'm gonna make all the cartoons I've ever wanted to make ever, and you are my in-house cartoon guy.
Nice.
Yep, and that's what I would do. I'd quit my job and just make stupid cartoons.
I don't need to make money off of them. I'm just gonna make them. In this scenario, you're rich. You don't need to work.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm quitting my job and I'm just making cartoons on YouTube. I'm going to have a cartoon channel on YouTube, and it's going to be ad-free and awesome. So if you guys want to see that, then, send me millions of dollars so I can quit my job. Millions of dollars, because I have to be rich so that I can pay the cartoon guy to make cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you yourself are a cartoon guy that just wants to spend your life being my animation slave. I will also gladly accept animation slaves in place of cash.
There you go.
But if you want to, whatever you guys can do, let's get it done. Let's get it going so I can just make cartoons forever.
I'm in.
Yes. Yeah, our YouTube channel would take off in a very big way.
For us, in our minds, anyway.
Even if it's just for us to watch these stupid cartoons, I wouldn't even care. I would be so happy. I'd be like, oh God, this is the greatest thing ever. And like 3 people like it. Everyone else is like, you guys are so fucking dumb.
Yeah, they're all there. There's people starving, and you're doing this.
There's people starving, and you've got an animation slave, and I'm like, I'm sorry. He's volunteered. He volunteered for it. I didn't force him into it. I just asked, and he said he would. Now shut up and watch more cartoons, bitch.
Don't forget to press the like button, slug.
Yeah, and hit subscribe and jingle that bell in my balls.
Well, this sighting, this photo prompted me to look up a couple other creatures from Aztec and Mayan lore, and I found a couple that were interesting. The first one being Nagual. And I found this one interesting because after reading about it, I think this is a skinwalker, and I think that's something that's interesting as far as a shared cryptid goes. Another cryptid in another location that shares the same attributes. But it originated from the word used for, quote, an indigenous religious practitioner. But once the Spanish conquistadors got a hold of it and Spanishfied the word, it took an interesting turn. It's to them they called them magicians. So what's that mean to you, Mike? The Spanish didn't call them preachers or priests or any other word that they could have used to describe someone who was the head practitioner of the local religion. I mean, the Spanish had the Bible. There were plenty of examples there. So after observing what they did, or maybe even moreover what they could do, they decided to call them magicians.
I don't know, man, because like in the Bible, it says that, especially in the Old Testament, there's a lot of stuff about magicians getting their power from devils and demons, and I think it was more so a way to demonize other religious practices more than anything. But so to me, it's I would think that probably anyone that would practice some sort of weird religious thing that might be like ritual based and seem scary to people with closed-minded Christian values, that maybe they would look at it as having demon magic, so therefore they're magicians.
Right. Or, I mean, it could be as simple as like the Spaniards saying, like, exactly, we didn't call them preachers. Compared to what our religion is, the Christianity or Catholicism, the religion that they were used to, maybe they're saying that they were on the spooky side of things by calling them magicians. And that whole thing, like you just said, them being linked to getting their powers from the dark stuff, it gives it a spooky feeling. And that idea is confirmed when you look at other translations for this being. They are shapeshifter, transforming witch, and transforming trickster.
Yeah, it sounds very much like what the Navajo belief in the Skinwalker is.
Right, yeah. Again, yeah, a good old shape, even like just a shapeshifter. So what do you think of, I mean, this is, if we're going that route, what do you think of almost, if not all civilizations, mythologies, sharing tales of some type of shapeshifter? Do you think that's just an easy go-to for people to make a story about an entity? Or do you think there's, I mean, just like Bigfoot, there's shapeshifters in every culture?
Yeah, and a lot of them seem to go hand in hand with trickster entities as well. So I think that it's kind of like legends combined with local spiritual practices. And I think if you have like think of it like a shamanic version of the boogeyman, like the elder shaman training his apprentice or whatever they're called, or look at it like a Jedi sort of thing where the elder Jedi is teaching his Padawan about the dangers of the dark side, and if you give into the dark side, you'll become a Sith Lord. And in this case, if you are a shaman and you give into the dark side, you become a skinwalker, or whatever the local equivalent is.
Right. Yeah, it was interesting to read that in modern times, in parts of rural Mexico, the Nagual is sometimes synonymous with a brujo or a wizard. So there you go, right there. Somebody who gets their powers from the dark side. And in their lore, this is someone who is able to shapeshift into an animal at night, normally a dog, owl, bat, wolf, or turkey, drink blood from human...
Oh, shit. You glossed over were-turkey way too quick. Way too quick. You can't just throw were-turkey at me and then just move on to vampires. That's not cool.
Can you just imagine a cool 80s, like, slow, like, werewolf change, but, like, instead of the dog snout poking out, it's just a tiny beak?
Yeah, like, feathers just start sprouting up, and then their nose and mouth start to elongate and form together with a bony ridge, and all of a sudden it spreads its fucking tail. And you're like, oh my God, it's a were-turkey. But not only is it a were-turkey, it's a vampire were-turkey.
Right. Yeah, that's the next trait, is that they drink blood from human victims. They are also known to steal property and cause disease. This is all behavior attributed to many mythical beings, but at first glance, now it's starting to take the turn of like one of these old medieval vampire stories, right? This is almost like the same thing.
But combined with a were-turkey.
Yeah, dude. It just tilts its head back and like with the moon behind it with a pile of like human skin on the floor.
It just tips its head back and yeah, oh my god. So much scarier. Like you see a werewolf and you're like, "Oh shit, that's super fucking terrifying because it's a fucking werewolf." But you see a were-turkey and it's so absurd and so fucking dumb that you can't even believe, and it's just gonna you lose your mind, and then before you know what's happening, he's eviscerated you and torn your fucking throat out. Because I don't know, and if where whoever's listening to this is located, I obviously have no clue where you are right now. But if you've ever seen a wild turkey or a group of wild turkey, I don't know what a group of wild turkeys is, but if you've ever seen a bunch of wild turkeys, they look like fucking dinosaurs. They look like little fucking dinosaurs running around, but they can kind of fly, and it's fucking weird. So if you have like, it's like being a fucking were-dinosaur, except you're a turkey.
Yep.
So turkeys are dinosaurs now.
Could you imagine the like pre-transition scene when his girlfriend's in a room and he's just like, oh, Cindy, get out. Look away.
Thank you for listening to the Whatcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, iTunes, and YouTube. Enjoy the podcast. Get yourself a Whatcast t-shirt or a sticker pack. Who was that dude on that one episode? Try the links in Homie's page. All this and more can be found at www.thewhatcasters.com. Thanks again for listening and have a great week.